Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the UEFA Franchise Cup 2025 between Australia and the United States of America. Football has brought all of us together. This wonderful sport is based on respect on and off the pitch. By showing respect for the teams, referee and your fellow spectators, we make football a better game for everyone. We remind you that there is no place for racism, but only for friendship. Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à l'UEFA Friendship Cup 2025 opposant l'Australie et les États-Unis d'Amérique. Le football nous a tous rapprochés. Ce merveilleux sport est basé sur le respect sur et en dehors du terrain. En faisant preuve de respect à l'égard des équipes, de l'arbitre et des autres spectateurs, nous faisons du football un jeu meilleur pour tous. Nous vous rappelons qu'il n'y a pas de place pour le racisme, mais seulement pour l'amitié. A no smoking policy is in operation at the UEFA Friendship Cup 2025. Any person using tobacco or e-cigarette products inside the stadium bowl will be asked to stop immediately. Thank you for respecting the no smoking policy and enjoy the game. Une politique d'interdiction de fumer s'applique au tournoi de la UEFA Friendship Cup 2025. Toute personne utilisant du tabac ou des produits d'e-cigarettes à l'intérieur du stade sera priée d'arrêter immédiatement. Merci de respecter la politique anti-tabac et de profiter du match. If the score is level at the end of normal playing time, the winner will be determined by penalty shootouts. No extra time will be played. Si les deux équipes sont à égalité à la fin du temps réglementaire, le vainqueur sera déterminé par une séance de tir au but. Il n'y aura pas de prolongation.
Hello and welcome to day 3 of play at the UEFA Friendship Cup in Nyon. 4 more matches today at UEFA HQ. Games that will decide the final group placings, and Group A is in focus here with the under-18s of Australia looking for their first win, taking on the USA, who have been excellent so far and could well finish today top of the group. Indeed, if they win this, they will finish top of the group. Ahead of the action here, we will have the national anthems.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of Australia. Veuillez rester debout pour l'hymne national de l'Australie.
So across both groups today, we'll know who finishes where and therefore who plays who on Tuesday, when first plays first, second versus second, and so on across groups A and B. This is Group A. Australia have 1 point from a draw against Argentina. Decent game that, but goalless. They lost the penalty shootout and then they lost 3-0 to the French. So just 1 point for them. The USA have a near perfect 5 points. This is the Australian lineup. Lawrence Wong and Nedim Mehmeti come in to start for the first time out here in Nyon. Xavier Smith and Dylan Leonard, who are more regular, come back. Having started the first game and sat out the second, they are back in the defence alongside Overy and Harrington, who are excellent. The USA team, well, 5 changes from their 11 starters that comfortably beat Argentina here in midweek, with Baera, Platz, the captain, Guska, Orejuela and Peter all coming in to start. Marlon LeBlanc has shuffled his pack well. His team have been really, really good. Deborah Annex is our referee today. And in the spirit of this Friendship Cup, the teams come together ahead of kick-off, and all the members of staff as well. And there's a picture that sums up this still new competition. Edition 2 of it. It happened last year with 8 different nations, entirely different nations invited. For what it's worth, Mali beat Slovakia in the final. The USA are looking strong contenders here. They should have beaten the French. They were 2-0 up and conceded twice in stoppage time. But they did then win the penalty shootout, which, remember, gets you an extra point. So they got 2 points from that, and then they were comfortable in beating Argentina by 2-0. So they've got 5 points out of 6. If they win this, that'll be 8 points out of 9, obviously, and no one would be able to catch them. So they would finish top of Group A. Australia, well, we don't know. There's all manner of possibilities open to them. Lucas Harrington on the left in the green and gold of the Australians is their captain today. Colin Gusk of Orlando City is the skipper for the USA. Australia looking for their first goal. A 0-0 and then a 3-0 defeat. They conceded just before half-time to the French and then 2 more late on. So we're ready to go with the third and final group game for Australia and the USA. Although they haven't won a game yet and they haven't scored, they've not really been outplayed. They were second best to the French, but not by a great deal in game 2, Australia. And they were more than solid against Argentina and unthreatened by them in their opener, and just couldn't find a way through. It was a pretty tight game with defences on top. Inzalako in goal for the Aussies again today, as he was for game 2, but not the opener, to bring in 2 new goalkeepers for this quite late in the day. Lucas Harrington here of the Brisbane Roar, who's wearing the armband today, has been a starter in all 3 games and he's been really good. His regular partner next to him returns today, Dylan Leonard. And the first chance, 90 seconds in for the Americans to get on the ball here. They've got a free kick. Caden Moore, very impressive so far, the centre-back. That's a nice little shimmy, good balance from Oreka Reina. Not quite so good with the pass. Counter-attacking possibilities here for Australia. Needs a good cross. That's awkward, and it's just over the bar. Well, Moore got a piece of it on the block. Couldn't be sure where it was going to go, and it dropped there for Lawrence Wong. Arrived at him very sharply, in fairness. Bayara coming forward. And he gets it back. Beautiful pass, big chance. Big save, Inzalako. That's a move typical of how sharp the Americans have been. There's an offside flag here. Not quite sharp enough on that occasion, but what a lovely, well-worked manoeuvre that was. Great stop from Inzalako. Half chance at one end already for Australia and a big chance at the other for the USA. He's making the overlapping run. Here he is. That's worth an effort. Why not early on? Bright start here, first 5 minutes. Santiago Pita with the effort. One of many Atlanta United youngsters in this USA squad. Fair few of them have already got MLS pro contracts. Inzalako under pressure. Good challenge from Caden Moore. That's beautifully played. Willie out to Reina. Baera the option here. Really good movement and passing from the Americans here early on. Dino Clapia. Reina again. Baera gives him the option. Overlapping from full-back. Gusk. To Blake Willie of Sacramento. They look comfortable in possession. They're not just keeping it for keeping's sake. Seems to have a purpose. They were expected to be strong, the USA, in this competition. Regular contenders at under-17 international level, which is a more common competition format. 3-time champions in that CONCACAF age group. And the 18s group here going well as Nate Worth comes very close with what looked like a pretty ambitious effort, but he nearly made it count. Lovely effort from Nate Worth. He was a late call-up from Tampa Bay last week. They had one or two withdrawals. Speaking of late call-ups, Inzalako here in goal. Same goes for him. Harrington out to Xavier Smith. Clapia is the pass, and indeed it is played. And safe hands from Sonny Inzalako. He and Jajanovic, the other goalkeeper who started the first game, were both brought in from Trevor Morgan's under-20 squad out in South America late in the day. Because the two goalkeepers initially that Australia called up for this tournament were both held back by their clubs. Moore following Mehmeti up there. Centre back on centre forward, well won. Sean Platts, another one of the Orlando contingent. They got Justin Ellis and the captain Colin Guska out there today. Justin Ellis on the bench with a good record. Sure we'll see him later. That one's overhit. Worth, he wanted a ball out to his right. No one was in that space. Oreharena. Pearce to Platts to Moore, and now Gusk. Domination of the football. A couple of chances already. And they've won it back high here. Clapier. And that's kept in by Nzalako. Bright and breezy 10 minutes in Nyon here. Just a reminder. 90 minutes and then a penalty shootout if it's drawn. You get a point if it is a draw, and you get an extra point if you win the shootout, as the USA did in game 1 against the French. The other game in this group, France-Argentina, happening later on. Australia win themselves a free kick here. The most they could finish on would be 4 points. France could finish on 7. Argentina could finish on 4. If the USA win this, they'll have 8. And they would then play on Tuesday in what is effectively the gold medal match. Whoever wins Group B, which will also be decided today. And the evidence of the opening 11 minutes, I'd say the Americans look like a favourite to win this one. Wong back to Harrington. Nice drop of the shoulder there from Wong. But now he's out of position and the counter-attack is on. Peter, out to Pearce. That's really neatly manoeuvred. Voice you can hear there, that of Marlon LeBlanc. USA coach, and he'll be happy with this start as Willie drives forward. The give and go with Dino Clapier was good. Here's Peter again. The Australians flooding back as Peter looks for room and finds the back of the net. What a cracking individual goal that is. Santiago Peter, the Atlanta youngster, weaved his way
Scored for the
through what looked like a
States of
crowded
America
edge of the
by
box, full of green and gold, but he found the
13.
gap and he found the net. That is a great hit.
Marqué pour les États-Unis d'Amérique par le joueur numéro 13. Australia 0, United States of America 1. Australie 0, États-Unis d'Amérique 1.
Now Australia, who haven't scored yet, have to if they're going to get anything from this third and final group game. Great moment for Santi Pita. Crawford did really well to ride the challenges. He's got De Lima outside him. Crawford goes for glory himself. Nearly an instant response from the young Socceroos. Real purpose about that driving run from Harry Crawford. Adelaide forward. He started on the left wing in their opening game, but he's on the right wing here. Looks like Marcus Neal has gone over to play left side with the incoming Mehmeti through the middle. Bit of a change in that front line. It's the first real glimpse of them we've had. Strong challenge. Oreja Reina is fleet of foot. Caden Moore there at the back, another one of the Atlanta contingent. They're the most represented MLS club in this American squad. Marlon LeBlanc still chattering away there. His whole squad, 2007 born. Zach Campagnolo. Rare touch with the gloves for him. Colorado Rapids goalkeeper, who has started all 3 games. Well read by Tyler Williams. Harrington to Leonard here. Just too much on that cross. Xavier Smith, first chance for him to get forward. It's something he does well. We saw it a lot against Argentina. Far less in this game early on, as Oreja Reina seeing no other option tried to go solo. Orlando defender Jackson Platt getting a bit of coaching from long distance on the touchline there as Baera, in at left back today, heads it out. Harry Crawford deep. Overy, Manchester United youngster, wins a corner, first corner of the game. Crowd developing at the far post here. Is this a training ground manoeuvre from the Aussies? Good delivery. Out by Gusk. The pace and strength there of Clapier. Matched by his marker. Oh, the lob is on. That is brilliant. Oh, what a goal. The Americans in complete control here for the third time out of this tournament. They are 2 goals up. They held on to it against Argentina. They let it slip against the French. But that finish from Clapier was something special. Two superb goals, totally different in their inception, and they are looking good to top Group A now, the Americans. Dino Clapier. His only goal at this level before that was another big one, a 4-3 winner against Norway earlier this year. One of the first games Marlon LeBlanc was taking the team for, a friendly, in March. Well, they'll never forget that goal, I'm sure. Brilliant. Oreja Reina hit. Baera will keep it in. Gusk. Long from Moore, and accurate from him too. Cut back, Clapier again! Nearly scored again. For the second time in the game, Inzalako pulls off a really good stop from the American number 9. Having seen a bit of all of the nations out here in Switzerland over this last week, I think they look a decent bet to come out of it as Friendship Cup winners, this American group. rare break in play, a quarter of the way through. Quiet morning's work for Zach Campagnolo so far. Little bit with his feet, very little with his gloves. Good awareness from Moore, buy himself a bit of time. It's a mature, composed performance so far. But we are dealing with youngsters here. Things can fluctuate. It doesn't feel like it's going to, but let's see. The Aussies looking for their first win. Well, that may be beyond them, but first goal would be nice. That's really well won by Leo Orejuela. Vieira looking for somewhere to go, and his centre forward obliges. That's really good. Overy, signed for Manchester United last year. James Overy from Perth Glory. Most of the Australian squad do play their domestic football in their homeland, but not all of them. Xavier Smith is in England as well, not so far from Manchester United with Crewe. Midfielder Anastasio plays in Italy. Clapier here with the touch. He's in the academy at RB Leipzig in Germany. Great goal from him today. And that's a good looking cross. Jackson Platts across with a really important defensive header. Otherwise, that would have been a simple finish for Mehmeti. Again, a far post group to try and meet the corner. I think that was Platts again getting up with a really strong header. Job done by the American defence. Forward by De Lima. Crawford trying to return it to him. That's just gone out for a corner, has it? Or a throw? It's a corner. Now, you can see what they've been trying to do with the first two. They just haven't quite had the delivery for it. They overload the back post. Let's see if they do it again here, the Australians. No, now they're doing it with that cluster of would-be attackers on the edge of the box, right? Well, they're trying something different. And now they make their move. That's worth a hit. Right through the crowd. Keeper didn't know much about that, Campagnolo. As the rebound is glanced over from such short range, that is a big chance twice over. The Americans keep their sheet clean, but not really knowing anything about it. That initial shot coming from the back of the box hit Campagnolo. He didn't really move for it. The reaction's just not quite quick enough in the middle to glance home what would have been the Aussies' first goal of this competition. By error. Klapia. It's a really good prospect, Klapia. Parents from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Was with New York City FC before going to RB Leipzig. We know excellent academy setup they have there. Campagnolo to Moore. Gusk. I think that's been given as a throw rather than a foul against Arthur de Lima. Brilliant again from Caden Moore. Look at that offload. Well, if this ends in a goal, it'll be something really special, and we've seen two good ones already. Orejuela. And it's not going to end in a goal. But not only does Caden Moore look like a really commanding defender who can do the old-fashioned stuff, he's got a great long pass on him. We've seen it throughout this tournament 3 or 4 more times already in half an hour here. Come through the academy at Atlanta. Caden Moore. He's got a homegrown status contract. Kicks in next year. Peter dropping in the midfield here. Jackson Platz. Back within Zalako, who's immediately closed down by Orejuela. And there could be more trouble here. No, that's a slightly overhit touch. Max Anastasio has come on here for Lawrence Wong, the Melbourne City player. Rather, he's about to. He's just on the touchline. Wong did have an injury issue that saw him miss the first game. I wonder if that's part of it or whether it's tactical or maybe a bit of both. Meanwhile, here's Crawford. Can Australia get something before the break? See Max Anastasio ready to come on. Did start the first 2 games. I wonder if there is an injury issue for Wong. Had that early chance. Harrington forward here. Overy Oh, that's a good cross, isn't it? Marcus Neal tucking in. Did his best to get it on target. It wasn't easy, but it's a really good delivery, and that change will be made now.
Substitution for Australia. Number 8 is being replaced by number 14.
Confirmation there, Lawrence Wong off. And Max Anastasio is on. Reina interested here. And he's beaten Overy to it. Now he needs to wait for some friends in the middle. Here they come. Clapia. Blake Willie really let rip there. It's well blocked by Leonard. Two brilliant goals from a side that look well in charge here. Clapia, his touch is good, although the Australian bench suggesting that might have been handball against him. Jackson Platts. Reina giving the option, and Baera went. It's another really good manoeuvre. That was absolutely by design, and what a goal it would have been. Maybe should have been. Over the bar on the volley from Clapia. Not an easy finish, but he'd probably expect at least to get it on target. Had that gone in, I mean, the trio of goals that would have then made from this first half. That was a brilliant move. Brilliant in its simplicity. Reina coming in short, Baera going in beyond. Really clever. Platts on the cover, awkward bounce for Moore to deal with. Overy first time, another slippery one. And Mometti straight at Campagnolo, who would not have had a chance if it had been anywhere else. Well, they've had a couple of good chances now, Australia here. Absolutely contest alive. If they can get the next one before the break, even more so. But clearly, you feel they can't afford to go 3 down, and that has looked perfectly possible on a couple of occasions. It's been another really good game out here in Nyon, despite the early morning start. Crawford finding Overy. Starting to put together some tidy moves of their own, the Aussies here, and they've won another corner. Back to the far post cluster plan. It's got to be deep enough. And it was, but somewhere in the middle of that, Deborah Amex, the referee, spotted a foul. Another good long pass from Moore. There's not an area of the field that they don't look strong in. Combinations from full back and wide man have been really good, especially over here with Orejuela and Baera. Peter. Nate Worth. Clappier's number 9 play as well. Really strong. That's a lovely take. Went for the toughest pass, though. Nate Worth fouled. A free kick to the US. Jackson Platts. Clapier again. Great centre-forward play. There might have been a foul in there, but there might be an advantage as well. Clapier just beaten to it by Harrington. The pass not quite on point for the centre-forward. It's been one of many standout players in this half, but you could pick 5 or 6 Americans who've just been nigh on flawless. That's a pretty blatant foul. I think we're going to see, yeah, we are. A yellow card for that. It had to be. Yeah, cynical pullback. Four minutes to half time. I'd imagine we'll have too much to add on, perhaps one for the 2 goals. It's the substitute, by the way, Max Anastasio, who got cautioned for that. He must have known he was going to get a yellow card. The fact that they were breaking. So he considered it worthy. Moore fires it through to Baera again. If he'd taken that with him, he was in. Here is Baera, forward-thinking full-back, and not just wide either, in field as he is right now. Gusk. Platts. Just look in control when they're on the ball. I think this has been a really impressive first half from the USA. And that's a good decision. The referee, Deborah Amex, just let that run, because there was definitely a foul in there, but there was also a real chance of an advantage, and then another foul came anyway, and they didn't make anything of that advantage, so it will come back for another American free kick. Just that bit sharper, more composed on the ball at the moment. And the 2-0 lead not flattering. That said, could easily have seen 1 or even 2 Australian goals, but we might have seen 1 or 2 more for the Americans as well. Platz into Baera. Oreja trying the little flick for Andrew Baera then. North Texas looking for New York. Into the final minute of normal time with one more to be added apparently. Cross looking for Oreja. Platz again. Just so comfortably mopping everything up, those two in open play, and happy to take a touch. That's a brilliant touch, speaking of that, from Baera. Oreja just on his heels, otherwise he'd have got there. Really good relationship those two have on this left side. Marlon LeBlanc, the American coach, will be absolutely thrilled with this display so far. Slightly tougher half-time team talk for Richard Garcia, but it is about development after all, and losing is part of development. We are into that one added minute now at the end of this first half. Frustration for James Overy, who gives it away to Baera here. Campagnolo, couple of saves. Thankfully for him, close enough to him for them to not be overly taxing. Harrington has won that on the charge. The throw goes against him, and that'll be the final action of this first half. And what a very good first half from this impressive under-18 group from the USA. They've scored two stunning goals through Santiago Pita and then the lob from Dino Clapia. Australia have had one or two chances. The Americans have had one or two more themselves. As it stands, they're going to have 8 points from 9, and they will be finishing top of Group A. Australia looking for their first goal of this tournament. They have had 3 attempts on target, as you can see, but the half-time scoreline, the most important thing here. It's Australia 0, the USA 2.
no smoking policy is in operation at the UEFA Friendship Cup 2025 tournament. Any person using tobacco or e-cigarette products inside the stadium bowl will be asked to stop immediately. Thank you for respecting the no smoking policy and enjoy the game. Une interdiction de fumer est appliquée lors de l'UEFA Friendship Cup 2025. Toute personne surprise en train de fumer du tabac ou une cigarette électronique dans l'enceinte du stade sera priée de cesser immédiatement. Nous vous remercions de bien vouloir respecter l'interdiction de fumer et vous souhaitons un bon match. If the score is level at the end of normal playing time, the winner will be determined by penalty shootout. No extra time will be played. Si les deux équipes sont à égalité à la fin du temps réglementaire, le vainqueur sera déterminé par une séance de tir au but. Il n'y aura pas de prolongation. Don't forget there will be also the match between Senegal and Portugal today at the beach 6 at 3:30 p.m. And don't forget also there will be the match between France and Argentina today at the stadium at 4 p.m. N'oubliez pas qu'il y aura également un match entre le Sénégal et le Portugal aujourd'hui sur le terrain 6 à 13h30. N'oubliez pas qu'il y aura également un match entre la France et l'Argentine aujourd'hui dans ce stade à 16h.
So the USA, 2 goals to the good, and heading for an unassailable lead at the top of Group A, regardless of what happens in the later match between the French and the Argentines. There's the half-time change for Australia with Hayne Eames coming into central midfield. He will probably play at the base of that midfield in the more defensive role. He has replaced Tyler Williams, who had a pretty tough half and got passed around. The Sydney FC player, replaced by the Central Coast Mariners player. And a change at left back for America, just jogging over to the far side there. Dominic Chonky, another Atlanta player, was captain in the last game. One of their most promising from a group that is seriously promising. He's replaced Andrew Baera, who was brilliant himself in that first half.
Please note the following substitution during half-time for USA. Number 2 replaced by number 3.
So the Americans kick off, and everything rosy in their world here at the moment.
Le numéro 13 est remplacé par le numéro 6. Veuillez également noter les remplacements suivants effectués à la mi-temps pour les États-Unis d'Amérique. Le numéro 2 est remplacé par le numéro 3.
Campagnolo's ball was aimed at Nate Worth. The Australians have won it high, and they've got themselves another corner. Confirmation of that change there. Eames replacing Williams in midfield. They've bossed the corner count, the Aussies. They just haven't made any of them count so far. Reina heads it behind. That'll be another corner from the other side. Trying to keep the pressure on. Chonky got a bit of that, and it's away by Willie. Platt's just got played around. That did take a touch on its way through. Looked like De Lima with the shot deflected. Another corner. Front foot start from the Aussies here, and they obviously need that. Offside flag up. Good take from Peter. Confident control. Ambitious but accurate pass. Here comes Chonky. It's another great American move, and it wasn't a bad cross either. Right where you'd want it to be, but not quite where the approaching forwards were. Good advantage played by the referee. It's a genuine threat. And actually, that threat remains. Marcus Neal of Sunderland. Mehmeti forced back by Chonki, who then gets the block in on the long-range shot. Offside flag again. As things stand in the Group B match that's also ongoing at the moment. Looks like Uruguay are going to be beaten again, and they'll be finishing bottom of Group B. And so, as things stand, Australia will be meeting Uruguay on Tuesday in the battle of the two nations finishing bottom of the respective groups. Arthur De Lima wants to come back on, and that is now allowed. Chonki gets us going again. Second youngest ever first team starter for Atlanta United. Dominic Chonki. Tyson Pearce making his run from right full back, putting the pressure on Dylan Leonard here. Giving him nowhere to go. He's done very well, Leonard, to get the ball out, keep it in play and find a teammate. Pearce again, into Worth, and Willie. Chonki sold a little short by that pass. And, scrapped away just on the right side of legal to win it back straight away. Pearce, back to Platts. Clapier again coming in to do the hold-up play. And even though he's smaller than his markers, he's done that hold-up play so well throughout. Caden Moore has dealt with everything so comfortably today. One or two crosses have caused the Americans some problems, but They're very comfortable on the ball back there. Moore with the time to look and pass once more, looking for Tyson Pearce. Xavier Smith got in there. An Australian bench, led by coach Richard Garcia, they're wanting a free kick for that. They don't get it, but the Americans will get one for the foul on Jackson Platts. And nothing overly friendship-based about this little coming together. Chonky to Willie. Oreharena coming in field. Good layoff for Clapia. Good defending from Lucas Harrington. In the middle of that, Marcus Neal of Australia picked up a caution. They just had a little spell in the middle of the first half and another at the start of this second, the Australians, where you thought maybe their breakthrough would come. They'd be desperate not to go home without having even found the net. But, given the volume of goals that Uruguay have conceded, you would think they've got a pretty good chance of scoring, at least in Tuesday's final game. Looks like that will be against Uruguay. Yellow card for that challenge there as well. Confirmation of the one for Marcus Neal. I think that's Nate Worth who's just picked up a caution for the Americans meanwhile.
Substitution for Australia. Number 19 is being replaced by number 50.
And having been cautioned, Marcus Neal is being replaced here. And Ryland Brownlee is on here. Queensland boy who has recently gone to the English game, joined Crystal Palace just a couple of months ago. Ryan Brownlee on for a bit more action here. As we approach the hour mark, the scoreline still as it was at the interval. And Australia have plenty forward and a high turnover here. Look how quickly they work back to keep the pressure on the Americans there. Anastasio. And that's going to be another yellow card. Santi Pita has that to go with his lovely goal. He's cautioned. Anastasio has won the free kick in a decent position for the Aussies here. Deep in that 6-yard box, and a deep delivery that's just slightly too well struck. Jackson Platts is coming off for the USA here, so a change in central defence. Braden Dunham, who played in there and scored on debut against Argentina last time out, is back in there now.
Number 13 replaced by number 19, number 4 being replaced by number 14.
Santi Pita has gone off to be replaced by Colton Swan on the right side of their attack. Also changed the other side of their attack and straight into the action there, and a painful one for Dunham. The Americans have also now brought on Jaden Contreras. So confirmation there, Braden Dunham on at the back for Jackson Platts. Straight swap at centre-half, and both wide men. Peter replaced by Colton Swan, and Oreja Reina replaced by Jaden Contreras, all of whom have looked very good. In fact, both those two wide men who came on have both scored already in this competition. See confirmation of those changes there now. Smith poking his pass out to Crawford, who seems to have switched to the left flank. Maybe that's a temporary measure. Throw goes the way of the Americans, and straight into the action. Colton Swan takes it. Nate Worth, nice early switch to find Dominic Chonky. First couple of touches there too for Jaden Contreras. Nicely taken goal to It was the opener against the Argentines in game 2 from him. Worth. Contreras had made the out-to-win run, and he's now just made a late challenge as well. Although that hasn't been given as such. Chonky on the charge here, and the Americans have a corner. The Australians still a little upset that they should have had a free kick, and to be fair, they probably should have done. Oh, it's just off. Thumbs up for the delivery. Solid connection too. Nate Worth, I think, with the chance there. Blake Willie. Time on the ball. Contreras. Harrington will just watch that one out. Harrington. Smith a little loose with his pass. Anastasio. Well, he was being closed down, he was a long way out, and he didn't see another option. Another accurate long pass. Contreras, Chonky on the overlapping run. Filling in well there. And that challenger, I think that was Brownlee. Quarter of the game to go. Clapier with the layoff. I don't need to tell you that it's perfect. Pearce. And again. Olenguski. Contreras. He and Swan have just flipped sides, as wingers are prone to do every now and then. Gusk looking over the top for the runner Colton Swan. Well watched by Dylan Leonard, but they're coming back again, USA here. With the St. Louis City right back, as he is currently, Tyson Pearce. Braden Dunham here. First call-up for the Americans, under 18 level. Given a go from the start in the last game and scored right on half-time against Argentina. Braden Dunham, yet another one of the Atlanta contingent in this USA youth team. More changes coming. Justin Ellis is about to come off the American bench. Dunham under pressure immediately. Great ball, says his coach. And a naughty challenge coming in and a yellow card for it. Those American changes are going to be made here by the looks of things. Might need some treatment first. It was Xavier Smith, the left back, who made that challenge and has been booked for it. And it's not just Justin Ellis we're going to see. We're also going to see Marvin Dills and Snyder Brunel coming off the American bench now. Ellis will probably be coming on up front for Dino Clapia. Well, let's see. Captain Colin Gusk is going off. So too Blake Willie and indeed Dino Clapia. Up front is going to make way for Justin Ellis. Clapia, outstanding number 9 display, capped with a quite beautiful goal. Justin Ellis, coming into this tournament, have played 3 times for the Americans at under 18 level and scored 3 goals. Orlando City forward. Gets to play the final 20 minutes here.
These are the substitutions for the United States of America. Number 9 is being replaced by number 20. Number 6 is being replaced by number 16. And number 17 is being replaced by number 8.
Clean sheet so far for Campagnolo. Had a clean sheet in his second match against Argentina, and for 93 minutes had a clean sheet against the French, and then they scored twice literally in the final minute and a half of stoppage time to take that one to a penalty shootout. Doesn't have the feeling this game that it'll go that way. Australian ball by that far corner flag. Harrington trying to find a bit of room to make a captain's charge into at the back of the box here. Can he see a path to get on the end of what he hopes will be a good delivery here? Can the Australians score their first goal of this Friendship Cup? Not from that delivery, they can't, I'm afraid. Cleared by Ellis, the centre forward doing the defending at the near post, but they're all still up, and this is just as promising. Good ball, and the loopy header takes the deflection onto the roof of the net. That was close, but they've got yet another corner. Free header. Oh, what a stop from Campagnolo, but he couldn't quite keep it out. And the Australians do have their first goal of this Friendship Cup, and this contest is alive again. You felt by the law of averages that the amount of corners they've had, they'd get one right eventually. And that one certainly was. Point blank, unmarked header. And with 15 minutes to play, it's game on. Australia 1, USA 2. Now then. We're going to see Richard and Como here, replacing the booked Xavier Smith at left back. And Mehmeti is going to make way now as well for Alessio Genova. That'll mean a little bit of a reshuffle, I think. I don't think he's going to play centre forward. So a double change from the Australians, and a change in feel as well. Just try and see where Alessio Genova's going to go. Parting act for Medine Mehmeti. Point blank headed goal, and then substituted straight away. One suspects that was going to happen anyway. Or they've given it away here though, as America look to re-establish the 2-goal lead. Tight angle, and he's down low quickly there into Lacko.
Marqué pour l'Australie par le joueur numéro 9. Australie 1, États-Unis d'Amérique 2.
A little too much on that. Little bit of sorting out to do before the throw is taken.
These are the substitutions for Australia. Number 3 is being replaced by number
Long throw.
16, and number 9 is being
Hooked up and
replaced
out.
by number 7. Il s'agit des remplacements effectués par l'Australie. Les numéros
Fresh legs on for Australia, and they're all attacking here. Is Crawford, and Como's inside him. Here is Nkomo. Can they make it 2-2? They can! How about this for a fight back? Well, it's happening to the Americans again, just like it did in game 1. And maybe they're not going to be winning the group. Ryan Brownlee off the bench to bring the Australians level. 2 goals in a few minutes, and it's all square.
Australia by player number 15. Australia 2, United States of America 2. But marqué pour l'Australie par le joueur numéro 15.
It's a great counter-attack, and they really made it count. And with a change coming here, by the looks of things. Santiago Morales of Inter Miami is on for the USA. It was Tyson Pearce that made way. And improbably, Australia there coming forward looking for what might be a winning goal.
Substitution for United States of America.
It's got very stretched here.
15 is being replaced by number 10. Remplacement pour les États-Unis d'Amérique. Le numéro 15 est remplacé par le numéro 10.
Well, that's a foul, surely. Well, apparently not. I think it was probably just outside the box anyway. Chonky racing back. Suddenly, it's the USA feeling the pressure. And fresher feel to the legs of the Australians. How about this? That's a pretty comfortable stop from Campagnolo. Oh, we're headed for a penalty shootout at this rate. Marvin Dales charging forward, pulled back, and a blatant foul and an obvious yellow card to follow. It's very open, this. Good run from Marvin Dales, the Eintracht Frankfurt midfielder. And were this game to finish as a draw, obviously one of them will get an extra point for winning a penalty shootout. It was De Lima, by the way, who got booked for the Australians for that foul. Dills with the shot! Oh, they lead again! No, they don't. Flags up. We thought it was a bullet header. Well, it was a bullet header. From what was a shot that turned into a cross. The net brilliantly found, but it won't count. 2-2 it stays. Well, most unlikely second half turnaround here. Not because they hadn't threatened at any point in the game, but maybe the USA a little guilty of taking their eye off the ball a little. Yeah, what this draw would do would very much bring the French into the equation as group winners rather than the USA. They play Argentina later. Improbably looking to make it 3-2, and Zach Campagnolo is having strong words with his defence here about getting that bit tighter, which they've done so well throughout this game. France-Argentina happens on this pitch after this one. It's a tough angle for De Lima, that shot, but, well, it was certainly there to be hit. Dills. Play on. Americans want their lead black. They should have had 9 points out of 9 in this group. At the moment, it's not looking that way. They were well on course for 8. Suddenly becoming 6 with the possibility of 7. Dills seeing plenty of it since coming on. Colton Swan. Still feels open enough that we have every chance of a goal at either end that could be the settler in this one. Clever pass. Caden Moore does well to make sure he wins the goal kick with the tackle. Couple of cheap turnovers there. That's really good awareness. Santi Morales of Inter Miami, brilliant solo goal he scored on this pitch against the French in their opening game. It's very tight in there. Someone needed to pull the trigger. We've got 4 minutes and stoppage time to go here. Greater intensity about the USA now. Stung by dropping another 2-goal lead here. Braden Dunham. Dills, and Swan to his right. Good challenge from Harrington. They're committing that many forward in trying to grab their lead back, the Americans, that leave themselves open to another counter, and Como led the last one that got them the equalising goal. Now that whistle has long gone. It's a USA ball. I don't know why they're getting in the way, the Australians. Enough of that. Two minutes and added time, and here come the Socceroos again. Anastasio. Kept in by Richard Nkomo. Plays for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Well, it's on target, but it's a pretty comfortable catch for Campagnolo. Can they find a gap for a most unlikely reversal of fortune here, Australia? Well, that's certainly worth a hit. Smartly down, Zach Campagnolo. Crawford with the opportunity. Once he made himself that space, it was a pretty good opportunity. 30 seconds left of normal time, and we're hearing 4 added minutes at least to come. And if we don't get a goal in that, we'll be having a penalty shootout. The USA have already won one of those, and the Australians have already lost one of those. But it might not get that far. Here they come again. Harry Crawford. Going for goal again, well closed down. If anything, as we hit added time, it felt like an Australian winner feels slightly more likely than an American one. Beautiful footwork there, and this has got real promise about it, and they got 4 forward here, Australia, with more hanging around at the back of the box. Oh, that's a cheap giveaway, though. Now the counter. Well, that's brought to a halt by that challenge, and that's going to be a yellow card. Well, we're going to have stoppage time within stoppage time here. But, referee Deborah Amex did have to get her card out again. It's heading for another shootout as things stand here. Well, the card was red for James Overy there, not yellow. So Australia's Manchester United fullback. Looks like he's been sent off here. Shouldn't make too much of a difference, you'd think, numerically, with so little time to go. Well, that was not a clean-looking challenge. The referee was straight there, and so are those providing the treatment for the victim. Confirmation there. Overy is off. He took one of the pressure penalties in their shootout against Argentina and scored it, actually. And those conversations will happen shortly enough about who's going to take what. We are going to have, well, surely maybe double the amount of stoppage time here. We'd barely played any when that challenge happened. Just looking at the substitutes list, I think I'm right in saying Marlon LeBlanc has used all his outfielders. He can make 9 changes in these games. He's made 8. The only player he hasn't brought on is Kane Rizvanovic, who's a goalkeeper. So as we finally restart, right now it's 10 v 10, a little more outfield space. We've probably still got 4 minutes to play here, certainly 3. I should think that clock will run to 97 before the final whistle goes. Sneijder-Brunel infield. Swan. Brunel keeps on running. Marvin Dills. Well, that's really well played. Can't swan out to Dills again. Just needs a good shot at the end of it. And it has one. Brilliant move. And surely a winner. And look what it means to the American youngsters here. The benches have cleared. Justin Ellis, whose under-18s career has seen him scoring at a goal a game. 4 in 5. And counting. And the Americans have their lead back in the nick of time. 3-2. They thought they'd blown it. And they know what that means. It means if they see it out this time around, they will finish top of Group A. And there'll be nothing the French can do about it on this pitch later. Brilliant football. He's also been booked, by the way, for removing the shirt. But that passing manoeuvre was so sharp for so late on. The pullback just needed someone to run onto it and give it a thump, and Justin Ellis absolutely did that. Look at this, as he does the closing down to put the tackle in. Playing as if their lives depend on it. Awkward bounce here. Caden Moore has dealt with everything in this tournament very impressively. Campagnolo goes long. We're in the hands of the officials here. There's just been a check of the watch. That ovary red card took at least 2.5, maybe 3, maybe even a bit more actually, minutes out of the stoppage time. But that is it. Celebrations for the USA, who were comfortable for a while and then not comfortable at all. 2 up, pegged back to 2-2 for the second time in this tournament, only to win it deep in stoppage time through substitute Justin Ellis. The Australians have their first goals of this tournament, but they are beaten again. Twice in normal time and once via a penalty shootout. So the USA will finish top of Group A and will play the gold medal match on Tuesday. Australia will have to wait and see exactly what awaits them when this tournament ends next week. An excellent game finishes Australia 2, USA 3.
Don't forget, there will be the match between Senegal and Portugal today at the pitch 6 at 3:30 p.m. And don't forget, there will be also the match between France and Argentina today at the stadium at 4 p.m. N'oubliez pas qu'il y aura un match entre le Sénégal et le Portugal aujourd'hui sur le terrain 6 à 15h30 et qu'il y aura également un match entre la France et l'Argentine aujourd'hui dans ce stade à 16h.